So good evening, students, and welcome to another episode of Power Up Your English. So what are we doing today? Where were we? As always, I would like to start my lesson with a song. And today I have chosen Paradise from Coldplay. Why? Because it has a lot of verbs in the past tense. Do you remember? In the simple past. So what are we looking for? We're looking for something with the verb to be. So for example, was or were. Or we're looking for some regular verbs. Do you remember? They end in ed. Or perhaps there are some verbs which were irregular. Do you remember? Had an irregular form. So for example, saw, which is the past of to see. To be able to see something. So without much further ado, let's start with this really nice song. Very nice song. So have you spotted the simple past? I've helped you. So we had was, we had flew away, which is the past of to fly. So very good. So last time we looked into this past simple tense. So what I would like to do now is to show you how to form the negative form of the simple past and of course to ask questions. Questions in the simple past. So let's have a look. So here we have our subject for the negative form. Do you remember? No inversion. So we have the subject. Then, because it's simple, we need the auxiliary. Do you remember the present simple? For example, what was the auxiliary of the present simple? It was do. Do you remember? Now, because we have to add a D, but also do is an irregular verb, and do becomes do, did in this past simple. So we use did, and then we have to add our particle not to form the negative. So this becomes in the contractive form didn't. So yesterday I didn't work. Okay? The interrogative form, what do we need to do? As always, we need to do an inversion. So the subject now goes into second position, not first position. Very good. The auxiliary is the same, did. No negative because this is a question, but we add a question mark at the end of the sentence. So, did you work yesterday? And that would be your question. So tonight we're going to practice a little bit with these questions. Now, look that the verb is always in the base form of the verb. So if in the affirmative sentence we add ed, so for example, she worked yesterday. In the question, I say she didn't work. So we no longer say worked because the D has already been used up by our auxiliary. So please remember, so when you ask the question, you don't say did you worked or you don't say you didn't worked. You say you didn't work or did you work. So remember that the verb goes into the main form. So let's go back to our book. So we are on unit 8. 8, it's the weekend. Very good. But we're going to be talking about last weekend. So not the weekend that is coming, not the present, but the past. And the phrase of the day is have a good weekend. In German, schönes Wochenende. In Italian, buon fine settimana. So let's have a look at the activities that you did last weekend. Here you have a lot of photos with a lot of activities. First, let's start with a personality test. So can you see here all of your pictures also have a color. So number 1 is red. So is number 6. and number 11 and number 12. Whilst, for example, number 2, 3, and 8 have a different color, green. And here you have your score. So the red images are worth 1 point. 2 points for the green, 3 points for the blue, and 4 points for the orange. And what do these points all mean? Well, you have to go to page 135 to find out. This is file 8. So what kind of person are you? So you choose the photos and you add up the numbers and you get a score. So if you scored under 8 points, you're a home person. You like to stay at home, watching TV, playing on the computer alone. If you score 8 or 12 points, yes, you like to stay home, but you're happy if friends come around. 12 to 16 points, you're a fun person, you like going out with friends. And over 16 points, you like doing sports. You don't have time for cleaning or gardening. You're outside all the time enjoying your favorite activities. Very good. Now, let's match these activities. So what are these activities in English? So as you can see, you have number 1. We've put the number 1 here is do the cleaning. So let's have a look at the solutions. So we said number 6. We start with doing the ironing would be number 6. Do the gardening is number 3. Go shopping, number 2. Go for a walk, number 7. Number 1 we said is doing the cleaning. Go cycling, jogging, swimming is number 9. Number 4 is play football, tennis, or whatever other sport with the ball. Then we have go to the theater or to the cinema. That would be number 10. Number 13, 1-3, go out with friends. Watch TV or watch a movie maybe is number 11. Read is number 15, 1-5. Surf the internet, number 12. Visit friends and family is number 14. Then we have relax, number 8. And go to work is number 5. So if you want to talk about what you did last weekend, maybe it's one of these activities, remember that if we want to talk about what we usually do, we use the present. Do you remember what you usually do at the weekend? I usually go jogging. How about you? Do you usually do the cleaning at the weekend? So the auxiliary, as I've showed you, is do. But if we want to talk about the past, we need to use did. So let's have a look. Let's do some listening exercises first. So we're going to listen to this conversation between Susan and Tom. And here we have one missing word. And see if you can find that one out.
2A. Last weekend.
Hi, Susan. Did you have a good weekend?
Yes, it was great. How about you?
Well, I did a bit of gardening and we went out for a curry in the new restaurant in King Street on Saturday evening. They do a great chicken tikka. Did you do anything nice?
Yes, we did actually. We went to Wales for the weekend with some friends. We went for a long walk on Saturday, and on Sunday we went to a lovely little pub for lunch. They had roast squirrel on the menu.
Did you try it?
No, I didn't. I'm a vegetarian. I had a delicious vegetable pie.
That sounds good. Well, see you later.
Yeah, see you.
Very good. So what was the missing word? I think you guessed right. It was did. So as I said to you before, the do of the present actually becomes did in the past. Brilliant. So as you can see here is all in the simple past. And did you notice roast squirrel towards the end? What is a roast squirrel? Please go and check the translation in your own language. So here, hi Susan, did you have a good weekend? So here we're using the verb have, but we need to put the auxiliary did before. And as you can see, have goes in the base form of the verb. And then let's look how many verbs in the simple past. In the past simple we have. So was, do you remember, is the past of is. Today is great, great weather. But if you want to talk about last weekend, it was great. Well, I did a bit of gardening. This time did is not the auxiliary anymore, but is the verb to do. I do the gardening today, but last weekend I did the gardening. And we went out for a curry. Went, do you remember, is the irregular verb, is the regular past of the verb go. So go, went becomes went. They do a great chicken tikka. That's in the present because they always do a great chicken tikka in King Street on Saturday evening. But when you want to ask about last weekend to Susan, ask, did you do anything nice? Yes, we did. And so notice here, did you do? So did is auxiliary, so it's a help verb, and helping verb, but it is also a normal verb. So when you want to use both, you can. Did you do? No, I didn't do. Okay, but actually Susan did. And always we put did. Went, again, the past of go. Went again here. Went, so that's a very important irregular verb that we use a lot. Have, did you have a good weekend? They had. So have in the past becomes had, not in the questions because we have did. And again, who did you try it? What, roast squirrel? Go and look for what roast squirrel is. So now let's label the photos, a bit of comprehension. So Susan or Tom, who did what? So I want to know who went for a traditional Sunday roast, who went to the Indian and to have curry, who was instead had a very nice walk, hiking, and who did the gardening. So of course it was Susan, Tom, Susan, and Tom. Very good. Now, here, what do we need to do? What did you do last weekend? You need to make questions. Your questions can be funny or serious, and once you've written them down, you can send them to me. So, for example, did you have a roast squirrel for dinner last Sunday? Or did you visit? So, did you have? Did you go? Did you go? Did you watch? And here you can choose any other verb. Just remember that the main verb doesn't change. It actually remains in the base form as I've showed you before. So, as you can see, when we ask did you, we have short answers. The short answer uses the auxiliary, so you can reply, yes, I did, or, as I showed you before, no, I didn't. Very good. So I would like to know what you did last weekend. Can you please write a very short text telling me what you have done last weekend? I'm very curious about it. So you can ask questions. Unfortunately, we cannot do this as we cannot see each other face to face. But let's have a look at this joke. This is a nice joke in the simple past, and then we'll do some exercises together. So we need to number the pictures in the correct order from 1 to 6. Then listen and check. So here we have a dialogue, and of course it's not in order. So one day Tom went to see to his doctor. The doctor gave him some medicine. As you can see, it's all in the past. Walk. So gave is the past of give. Woke is the past of wake. Went, we've already seen, is the past of go. Had is the past of have, as you've seen before. Took is the past of take. And was, we know, is the past of the verb to be. Okay, so let's now listen to it and find out the solution.
6A.
Tom had a problem. He always got up late in the morning. So he was always late for work. And his boss was always very angry. One day, Tom went to his doctor. The doctor gave him some medicine. Tom took the medicine before he went to bed. He slept very well. In the morning, he woke up early. He had a big breakfast and went to work. "Boss," he said, "here I am. I'm on time. The medicine worked." "That's great," said the boss.
That's great, said the boss. But, so have you put the dialogue in order? So it would be 3, 5, 1, 4, 2, and 6. Are you curious to know what Tom's boss said? Let's find out.
6C.
"Boss," he said, "here I am. I'm on time. The medicine worked." "That's great," said the boss. "But where were you yesterday?"
Ha 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 ha. Did you get the joke? Where were you yesterday? So, okay, this time he managed to get on time, but yesterday he was probably sleeping all day. So the medicine worked so well that he didn't wake up. He slept 48 hours. So he didn't go to work the day before. Very good. Now let's practice a little bit with our negative and questions. Actually, I've got 2 exercises for you. So we'll do one together and then I'll show you the others. So here we have here we're going to practice some questions. As you can see here, you have questions marks everywhere. And we have the affirmative form and we need to write the question. So for example, I played basketball. So do you remember what goes in front? Let's go and check our rule. So first we need our auxiliary did, then the subject, then the base form of the verb, and then of course the question mark. So here you can choose did. So, for example, you can choose, it says, I played. So which one is your subject? Of course, did you. Then we need the played. We no longer put the ed because the d has already been put in here. So, did you play basketball? I played basketball. Did you play basketball? You played basketball. So, did you play basketball? Very good. Oh, here would be, did I play basketball? Yes, I played basketball. Did you play basketball? Yes, you played basketball. She played basketball. So, as always, remember that you always need to put the did in front. So actually you can start this way so you're sure not to make mistakes. So always remember, copy the rule. It's like maths. So you have the auxiliary first. So did. Here we just need to change the subject. And do you remember that in the present simple, in the third person, like she, he, or it, do became does? Well, no need to do that anymore. Is always did. As you can see here, it doesn't change, not even for the third person. So please do not get confused. So did she, and again, we just use the verb at the base form. So they're all the same. So that's pretty easy. You just need to copy the formula that you have in your grammar, and then you can do that. Then I have uploaded some new exercises for you. Actually, you have the link to this exercise if you go in the comments in this video. As you can see here, you can practice a little bit. We have the past of to be and the past simple of all the other verbs. Remember that sometimes in front of did, we can have a WH question. Here we are. So for example, where or what or why. So please do remember that. And then always remember to put did. For example, did Mandy, here we needed to do with was, were, or did. So here we would just want to ask if you would say that Mandy was at work yesterday. So remember that the questions when we used the was, we just need to invert. So the order always changes. So the subject is always in second position. So for example, where were they last night? And here we have Mandy, so it's singular, so we use was. Was Mandy at work yesterday? Here we have go, so we no longer have the verb to be. So remember, this is all of the other verbs, so we need to follow this rule. So what did we put in front? Yes, did. Did they go to Italy last month? What film? Again, here we have watch. So every time we have a different verb which is not to be, we need to add did. Brilliant. And so on. Please, I'll let you practice this on your own so you can get a little bit of extra practice. Now, I've also found this very engaging game, and I've put a link at the bottom of it. So it's pretty easy. So as you follow the link, you just need to start. And you have different types of exercises. Careful, because you also have a timer. So what do we need to do now? For example, wake is the past we saw of walk. So you need to match. Drink is drunk. Sing is sung. And then we have some irregular again. Did you remember? Give, gave. And then we have some regular like exercise, press, pressed, charge, and another one. Here, what do we need to do? We need to see what are these people doing. Of course, they're not singing, not charging. It's
Last
exercise.
week they.
Last week they. So today I exercised, but last week they
Exercised.
This is to hear.
Earlier today he heard a noise.
This is drink.
After running, she drank water.
This is charge, to charge your phone.
Yesterday I
This is regular, so we use
charged my phone.
This is to give. You give a present. Do you remember?
Yesterday he
And is irregular. So this would be if it was irregular, but no, not right, is
gave her a gift.
What's she doing? Sing.
Last night she
Irregular again. You just need to learn these by heart.
sang a song.
Very good. This is to wake in the morning.
Before 6 she
Woke. And again is irregular.
woke up.
This is press.
This morning I pressed a button.
And now you need to put all of these phrases in order. So we said last week. They exercised earlier today. He, what? Do you remember? Heard a noise. After running, she drank water. No questions here, just affirmative sentences. Yesterday, I charged my phone. Yesterday, he, that's the man, what did he do? He gave her a gift. Last night, she sang a song. Before 6, she woke up. This morning, I pressed a button. And again, here you have some more exercises. So you'll find the link to this exercise actually in the comment box below so that you can have some extra practice. So thank you very much for your time. That's all from me tonight. And I very much hope to see you soon. Please enjoy the rest of the evening and